Nathan froze in the doorway, grocery bags slipping from his numb fingers, apples rolling across the linoleum like escaped secrets. His little sister, Mia, peeked from the hallway, her wide eyes mirroring the terror he'd buried deep since coming out at 17, only to stuff it back in when Dad's cancer diagnosis turned their world to ash. That was 8 years ago, and Nathan had become the rock. Dropping out of art school, picking up double shifts at the auto shop, wiring every extra dime home to cover Mom's nursing shifts and Mia's braces. Love? Dreams? Those were luxuries for people whose families didn't teeter on the edge of eviction notices. But tonight, with Alex's text still warm in his pocket, "Can't wait to see you tomorrow, babe. Our place feels empty without you." The dam had cracked. Mom had found the photo on his phone, the one of them kissing under the Williamsburg Bridge at sunset, and now here they were, the air thick with the scent of boiled cabbage and unspoken accusations. "I gave up everything for you?" Nathan whispered, his voice cracking like the thunder outside, but she didn't hear him. She never did. Nathan had always been the fixer, the one who taped over the cracks in their family's facade with quiet efficiency and a smile that never quite reached his eyes. Born in the shadow of the Queensboro Bridge, in a cramped apartment that smelled of motor oil and Mom's endless pots of Irish stew. He'd grown up watching his father, Tom, wrench away at engines until his hands bled, all to keep the lights on. Tom was a good man, stoic with a laugh like gravel under tires. But the factory layoffs in '09 had hollowed him out, turning beer cans into nightly rituals and dreams into dust. Nathan, at 12, started bagging groceries after school to help, his small frame hauling crates twice his weight, pocketing tips in a coffee can labeled family fund. By high school, Nathan knew he was different. The crushes on the quarterback in the locker room, the way his heart stuttered when Jake from art class brushed paint from his knuckles. It wasn't like the stories in the magazines Mom devoured at the laundromat, the ones about prom queens and white picket fences. He buried it, dated Sarah from Chem Lab for cover, but the truth gnawed at him like rust on an old Chevy. When he finally told his parents at 17, Dad had clapped a heavy hand on his shoulder. "You're my boy, Nate. That's all that matters," and gone back to his crossword. Mom? She'd wept into her rosary, murmuring about prayers and fixing him, but she'd hugged him tight enough to bruise. Then came the call from the hospital, the one that redrew the map of their lives. Dad's lungs, riddled with tumors from years of inhaling exhaust fumes, gave out faster than anyone expected. Nathan was 19, one semester into community college's graphic design program, sketching logos in stolen moments between shifts. He deferred, then dropped out entirely when the bills piled up like snowdrifts. "We'll manage," Mom said, her voice brittle as she took on night shifts at the diner. But managing meant Mia's school fees, Mom's mounting debts, and Nathan's dreams evaporating like morning fog over the East River. He moved back home full-time, into the room he'd shared with his old baseball glove and dog-eared comics, now cluttered with Mia's Barbies and Mom's pill bottles. The auto shop in Bushwick became his second skin. Grease under his nails, the clang of tools a rhythm that drowned out the what-ifs. He dated in shadows, quick hookups in dive bars off Myrtle Avenue, always ending with, "This can't go anywhere," until Alex Rivera had blown into Nathan's life like a summer storm, all sharp wit and easy grace, with skin like burnished copper and eyes that crinkled when he laughed. They'd met at a queer open mic night in Bed-Stuy, Nathan nursing a cheap beer after a brutal double shift, Alex on stage reciting poetry about borders and belonging, his parents Cuban exiles who'd fled Castro's shadow for the promise of Miami sun. "Your drawings," Alex had said later, spotting Nathan's sketchpad. "They're like whispers in a scream. Raw." Nathan had blushed, fumbling for words, but Alex's hand on his arm felt like permission to breathe. Their first real date was falafel under the BQE, traffic rumbling overhead like an indifferent god. Alex talked about his graphic novel in progress, panels of queer Latinx superheroes fighting invisible wars, and Nathan confessed his abandoned portfolio, the one gathering dust in a milk crate. "You're still an artist?" Alex insisted, his fingers tracing Nathan's knuckles. "Family doesn't get to steal that." But Nathan waved it off. Family was everything. He sent Mia's report cards with gold stars to Alex's phone, bragging like a proud dad. He quoted Mom's latest diner gossip over late-night calls. Alex listened, always, but Nathan saw the flicker, the worry that one day, the weight Nathan carried would crush them both. 6 months in, and it felt like home. Alex's tiny loft in Greenpoint, with its exposed brick and string lights, became Nathan's sanctuary. They'd cook arroz con pollo from Alex's abuela's recipe, Nathan chopping onions while Alex danced to Bad Bunny, pulling him into spins that left them breathless and tangled on the futon. "I love you," Alex whispered one night, his head on Nathan's chest, the city hum a lullaby outside. Nathan's heart swelled, but guilt twisted in his gut. "I love you too," he replied, meaning it fiercer than anything he'd felt for the family that demanded his bones to build their walls. Yet the sacrifices mounted. When Mia needed summer camp, art classes, of all things the ones Nathan had once dreamed of, he cashed in his savings, the emergency fund meant for a shared apartment with Alex. "It's for her future," he told Alex over FaceTime, his voice steady despite the ache. Alex nodded, but his eyes darkened. "And yours? When do you get a future, Nate?" Nathan laughed it off, but the question lingered like exhaust in his lungs. Mom's shifts at the diner grew erratic. Her back, worn from years of slinging plates, buckled under the strain. Nathan picked up her slack, lying to his boss about family emergencies to cover the overtime. He'd wire money from his paycheck, watch it vanish into rent and utilities, then collapse into bed with Alex's texts as his only light. "Miss you tonight," Alex would send, followed by a heart emoji that made Nathan's chest tighten. He missed him too. Missed the way Alex's laughter chased shadows, the safety in his arms where Nathan didn't have to be the strong one. One crisp October evening, as leaves skittered across McCarran Park, Nathan sketched Alex unannounced. A half-finished portrait capturing the curve of his jaw, the mischief in his gaze. "For your book," Nathan said, handing it over with a shy grin. Alex's face lit up, pulling him close for a kiss that tasted of cider and forever. "This is us, Nate, building something real." Nathan believed it in that moment under the golden hour glow. But back home, the fridge hummed empty, Mia's homework piled on the table, and Mom's weary eyes met his with unspoken expectation. "You're a good boy, Nathan," she said, patting his hand. "The Lord's testing us, but we'll pull through. For family." He nodded, swallowing the truth that family was a chain, heavy and unyielding. But for Alex, for the spark of a life beyond grease and guilt, he'd start to loosen the links. Or so he thought. The betrayal didn't come with fanfare. No dramatic storm or swelling strings like in the movies Alex loved. It slunk in on a Tuesday, wrapped in the mundane fold of a utility bill and the sharp tang of Mom's menthol cigarettes. Nathan had come home early from the shop, his back screaming from a transmission job that had him bent double for hours, dreaming of Alex's post-shift massage ritual. But the apartment door creaked open to silence. No clatter of Mia's video games, no sizzle from the kitchen. Just Mom, perched on the sagging couch, a stack of papers in her lap, her face pale as milk under the fluorescent buzz. "Nate," she said, voice flat as the Jersey Turnpike. "We need to talk." He dropped his keys on the hook, stomach twisting. The papers were his bank statements, ones he'd hidden in his drawer, the digital trail of transfers to her account for Mia's tuition, the down payment on her investment property that turned out to be a scam artist's fever dream. But it was the phone in her hand that stopped his heart. His unlocked somehow, the screen glowing with Alex's latest photo, the two of them shirtless on Coney Island Beach, arms slung casual, joy etched in salt-crusted smiles. "I found this when I was cleaning," she lied, because Nathan knew that drawer like his own scars. Her eyes, once soft with maternal pride, now burned with something feral, disgust laced with desperation. "How long have you been this, lying to us, to God, while we scrape by on your blood money?" The words hit like a wrench to the ribs. Nathan sank onto the arm of the chair, the room spinning. "Mom, it's not. Alex is good to me. He's part of this, part of us." But even as he said it, he heard the fracture. The us that had always been family first. Alex a secret appendix to the main story. She'd seen the texts, the plans for a weekend getaway to the Catskills, the quiet dreams Nathan had dared to voice in the dark. "You're throwing it all away," she pressed, leaning forward, her rosary beads clicking like judgment. "For what? Some phase? I raised you better. After your father. God rest him, we needed you whole. Not broken. Broken." The word echoed the whispers from his teen years, the ones that sent him to conversion podcasts and late-night confessions in empty churches. But Alex had mended him piece by glittering piece. Nathan's hands trembled as he reached for his phone. It's not a phase. It's me. And I've given everything. College, friends, my own shot at everything. She laughed, bitter as black coffee. You think wiring checks makes you a saint? I know about the overtime, the skipped meals. But this. She thrust the phone at him, the screen blurring through his rising tears. This is selfishness. Mia sees you like a hero, and now? What will she think when the neighbors talk? When Father O'Malley asks why my boy's not at Mass anymore? Guilt flooded him, hot and familiar, the kind that had kept him chained. Mia, 11 now, all freckles and fierce sketches, idolizing her big brother who fixed her bike and snuck her extra cookies. He'd shielded her from the worst. Dad's chemo nausea, Mom's breakdowns, the eviction scares that came like clockwork in winter. For her, he'd swallow this. I'll end it, he heard himself say, the lie tasting like ash. Just, don't tell her. Please. Mom's shoulders sagged, victory etching lines deeper into her face. Good. Family sticks together, Nate. That's how we survive. She stood, gathering the papers, her hand brushing his shoulder. Not in comfort, but possession. Burn those pictures. And that phone? Leave it here tonight. Pray on it. He nodded, numb, watching her shuffle to the kitchen. The rain had stopped, leaving the world slick and unforgiving. Nathan texted Alex from the landline. Emergency at home. Talk tomorrow. Then curled on his bed, the mattress springs poking like accusations. Sleep came in fits, haunted by Alex's laugh, the way his fingers mapped Nathan's spine like Braille secrets. Morning broke gray, the city awakening with horns and distant sirens. Nathan dragged himself to the shop, hands steady on the torque wrench but mind a whirlwind. Alex called at lunch, voice laced with worry. Babe, what happened? You sound wrecked. Nathan leaned against the break room vending machine, the hum masking his whisper. Mom found out. About us. It's bad, Alex. She wants me to. Stop. Silence stretched, taut as a snapped cable. I know, Nathan choked. Give me time. I'll fix this. But as he hung up, doubt coiled tighter. Fix what? The family that demanded his erasure, or the love that demanded his truth? That night, he drove to Alex's, the old Ford pickup rattling over potholes like his resolve. Greenpoint streets glowed with hipster lanterns, a world away from Bushwick's grit. Alex opened the door in sweatpants and a faded Ramones tee, pulling Nathan into a hug that smelled of turpentine and home. Tell me everything, he murmured, guiding him to the couch. Words spilled. The confrontation, the guilt, the lie he'd told to buy peace. Alex listened, thumb stroking Nathan's palm. But when he finished, Alex's eyes were stormy. She's using you, Nate. Not loving you. Your dad's gone, Mia's growing up. When does it end? You deserve more than scraps. Nathan pulled away, pacing the loft's scarred hardwood. They're all I have. Without me. Without you, they'd figure it out. Like everyone else. Alex stood, closing the distance, his hands framing Nathan's face. But with me, you have a life. Don't let her steal that too. They made love that night, urgent and tender. Bodies a rebellion against the world's demands. Afterward, tangled in sheets, Alex traced the scar on Nathan's cheek. The one from a bike crash at 10, when Dad had carried him 3 blocks to the ER. Promise me you'll fight for this, Alex whispered. Nathan nodded, throat tight. I will. But promises are fragile as Brooklyn fog. The next week blurred in a haze of shifts and silences. Mom watched him like a hawk, her smiles brittle, Mia's questions. Why's Mom mad at you? Met with deflections. Nathan deleted photos, hid his phone, but Alex's texts burned in his pocket. I miss your sketches. Draw me something fierce. He tried, late nights at the shop, charcoal smudging his fingers into portraits of defiance. A queer night slaying family dragons. But doubt festered. The breaking point came on a Friday, pay in hand. Nathan stopped at the Western Union, half the check for home, the rest tucked for a surprise dinner with Alex. Steak at that hole in the wall on Nostrand. But Mom was waiting when he walked in, eyes red-rimmed, a letter crumpled on the table. Eviction again, she sobbed. The landlord hiked the rent. Mia's school. How much? Nathan asked, already reaching for his wallet. 2,000. All of it. Her gaze flicked to his pocket, knowing. He hesitated, Alex's face flashing, hopeful, waiting. But Mia bounded in then, hugging his legs. Draw with me tonight, Nate? Like when I was little? He handed over the cash, the dinner dream dissolving. Sure, kiddo. Anything. Alex understood at first. We'll reschedule, he texted, hearts following. But the reschedules stacked. Mom's emergency root canal, Mia's flu, the endless drip of needs. Nathan's sketches gathered dust, his touches with Alex growing rare, frantic. You're fading on me? Alex said one night, voice muffled against Nathan's neck. Don't let them win. I'm trying. Nathan lied, the weight crushing him. Little did he know, Mom was plotting deeper cuts. Alliances forged in church basements, whispers to Mia about Uncle Nate's bad influences. The betrayal brewed, a storm Nathan couldn't outrun. It started with Mia's birthday, a milestone Nathan had circled on the shop calendar in red ink, like a prayer. 12 years old, on the cusp of teen storms, her once gap-toothed grin now framed by braces he'd financed with skipped lunches. He planned it meticulously. A cake from the Italian bakery on Knickerbocker, vanilla with rainbow sprinkles because she'd whispered once, like pride flags, Nate? For you. His heart had stuttered then, but he'd laughed it off, ruffling her hair. Now, with Alex's help, he'd hidden party hats in the truck bed, streamers pilfered from a customer's garage sale. We'll make it epic, Alex had promised over coffee that morning, his knee pressing Nathan's under the diner booth. You deserve this win. Home was chaos wrapped in tinsel. Mom bustled in the kitchen, her apron dusted with flour, but her smiles were edged, like glass under silk. You invited him? She'd hissed earlier, spotting Alex's name on the guest list Nathan had left out. After we agreed. He's a friend. Nathan cut in, voice low as Mia practiced her dance routine in the living room. For the party. That's it. The lie sat heavy, but peace was a currency he traded daily. Mom's lips thinned, but she nodded, turning back to the oven. Nathan exhaled, joining Mia for a twirl, her laughter a balm against the tension. Guests trickled in, shop buddies with six-packs, Mom's church ladies with Jell-O salads, a smattering of Mia's classmates clutching glittery cards. Alex arrived last, fashionably late with a wrapped sketchbook. Nathan's gift idea, executed in Alex's fluid lines. Mia as a superhero, cape billowing over Brooklyn brownstones. For the artist in the family, Alex said, winking at Nathan as Mia squealed, hugging him fierce. The backyard, really a sliver of concrete ringed by chain link, buzzed under string lights Nathan had strung himself. Burgers sizzled on the communal grill, laughter mingling with Bad Bunny blasting from a Bluetooth speaker. For an hour, it was perfect. Nathan stealing glances at Alex across the crowd, their fingers brushing when passing plates. A secret Morse code of I love you. Mom hovered, her gaze a laser on Alex, but the wine seemed to soften her edges. He's polite, she conceded to Nathan, refilling her plastic cup. For a friend. Then the toast. Uncle Ray, Dad's old fishing buddy, raised his beer. To Mia, our firecracker, and to Nate, the glue holding us together. Cheers erupted, but Nathan caught Mom's murmur to Father O'Malley in the corner. Glue? More like a wedge. His stomach dropped, but he drowned it in soda, pulling Mia for cake-cutting photos. The knife slipped in easy, pink frosting blooming like wounds. Mia blew out candles, wishes sealed with a grin. I wished for you to be happy, Nate, she whispered later, icing on her chin. Like with your art guy. Nathan froze, but before he could respond, Mom's voice cut through. Mia! Inside for presents. Now. The shift was seismic. Guests filtered out, hugs and thank yous trailing like smoke. Alex lingered, helping stack chairs, his shoulder brushing Nathan's in silent solidarity. Proud of you, he murmured. This was magic. Nathan leaned in, risking a quick kiss behind the shed, salty, desperate, when Mom's silhouette loomed in the back door. Nathan, a word. Her tone brooked no argument. Alex squeezed his hand. Call me, and slipped away, taillights fading into the night. Inside, the kitchen reeked of stale cake and confrontation. Mom slammed a drawer, silverware rattling. That boy's poison. I saw you. Back there like animals. Her face flushed, rosary clutched like a weapon. Mia's impressionable. What kind of example? Stop. Nathan begged, voice raw. It's her birthday. Let it be. But she wouldn't. Words tumbled. Accusations of corruption. Pleas to save your soul. The ultimate gut punch. I told Father O'Malley everything. About your lifestyle. He agrees. It's a demon. We'll pray it out. Nathan's world tilted. Church? The one place he'd found fragile acceptance after Dad's funeral. Where the choir's harmony had once soothed his fractures. Now weaponized. You had no right, he whispered, fists clenched. Family rights, she spat. You owe us. After your father, his heart broke, you know. Seeing you like this. Lie or not, it pierced. Dad had never said, but the memory of his final days, eyes distant during chemo, haunted Nathan. Had he known? Disapproved? The fight escalated, voices rising until Mia burst in, tears streaking her face. Stop yelling. It's my fault. I told Grandma about Alex drawing me. I thought it was cool. Her small frame shook, clutching the sketchbook like a shield. Mom whirled. You knew. But her fury softened to manipulation, pulling Mia close. Baby Uncle Nate's confused. That's why we pray. For him to be normal again. Nathan's soul fractured then, watching his sister. His light, swallowed by the web. Mia listened, but she buried her face in Mom's skirt, eyes avoiding his, betrayed by blood the deepest cut. He fled to the truck, engine roaring to life, tires screeching toward Greenpoint. Alex answered the door in boxers, alarm etching his features. Nate? What? Everything's ruined. Nathan collapsed into his arms, sobs racking him as the story poured out. The kiss, the church, Mia's tears. Alex held him through the night, whispers of "it's not your fault" a lifeline. But dawn brought clarity and conflict. I can't do this anymore, Nathan said, staring at the ceiling cracks like fault lines. Hiding, lying, but leaving them? Mia needs me. Alex sat up, hurt flashing. And you? When do you need you? This isn't love, Nate. It's chains. His voice cracked. I can't watch you drown for them. The ultimatum hung unspoken. Choose. Nathan dressed in silence, the sketchbook heavy in his jacket. I need time, he echoed, the refrain of his life. But as he drove back to Bushwick, rain slicking the windshield, he knew time was the thief. Days bled into weeks, the rift widening. Mom ramped up the pressure. Daily masses, exorcism pamphlets slipped under his door, Mia's hugs growing tentative, her drawings now of happy families, with Dad's ghost smiling approval. Nathan worked until his hands blistered, avoiding Alex's calls until voicemails piled. Miss you. Fight for us. He tried, one sketch smuggled to Alex via mail, a portrait of them as warriors, swords crossed in alliance. Hold on, the note read. But Mom struck deeper. She confessed to the church group, framing Nathan as the prodigal. Prayers requested for his deliverance. Whispers followed him at the shop. Ray's awkward pats, customers' sidelong glances. Worst, Mia's school counselor called, tipped off about family instability, probing Nathan like a suspect. Your mother's concerned, she said. Nathan's blood boiled, betrayal layered on betrayal, Mom weaponizing systems meant to protect. The high tide crashed on Thanksgiving, the holiday Dad had loved for its football and full table. Nathan arrived with turkey from the shop discount, hoping for truce. But the spread was meager, church ladies filling seats. Father O'Malley at head like a judge. Bless this family, he intoned, eyes on Nathan. And the lost lamb among us. Dinner was torture. Forced small talk, Mia's forced giggles, Mom's pious glances. Under the table, Nathan's phone buzzed. Alex, thinking of you. Turkey's overrated anyway. Love you. He silenced it, but Mom noticed, her fork pausing. That friend again? Put it away, Nathan. This is family time. After pie, as plates cleared, she cornered him in the hall. End it. Tonight. Or I tell Mia the truth. How you're choosing sin over her. Her voice dripped venom. The mother he remembered buried under zealot's armor. Nathan's resolve snapped. No more. He grabbed his coat, storming out into the chill, November wind whipping his face. The truck wouldn't start. Battery dead. Irony's cruel joke. He walked, blocks blurring, until his feet carried him to the bridge, the East River churning black below. Lights twinkled across in Manhattan, a promise of lives unlived. He dialed Alex, voice breaking. I choose you. But God, it hurts. Alex was there in 20 minutes, taxi screeching to a halt. They stood railside, arms locked, Nathan's tears soaking Alex's collar. We'll figure it, Alex vowed. Therapy for Mia, boundaries for your mom. You're not alone. But betrayal's echo lingered. As they drove to Greenpoint, Nathan glimpsed Mom's silhouette in the window, phone to ear. Calling who? Church? Cops? The storm wasn't over. The fallout was a slow bleed, not the explosive shatter Nathan half expected. No police sirens, no dramatic disownment scrawled on legal paper, just a chilling void. Mom's text stopped cold after that night. No dinner's ready or Mia's fever broke. Mia's drawings arrived via mail, and signed, crayon figures of a family with one shadow missing. Nathan's knocks went unanswered, the buzzer a mocking echo. He'd chosen, all right, himself, Alex, a fragile new dawn. But the cost carved hollows under his eyes, sleep elusive in the loft's creaky bed. Alex was anchor and architect, mapping their escape with the precision of his graphic novels. First, boundaries, he said over takeout lo mein, chopsticks poised like conductors. No money wires, no guilt trips, and therapy. For you to unpack the martyr complex. Nathan laughed, bittersweet, but booked the session anyway. A queer-affirming counselor in Williamsburg whose office smelled of sage and safety. Your mother's actions weren't love, she said gently in their first hour, Nathan's knuckles white on the chair arms. They were control. You deserve reciprocity. Reciprocity. The word became mantra. Nathan enrolled in night classes at Kingsborough, digital design modules squeezed between shifts. His first assignment, a poster for a local AIDS walk, earned professor praise. You've got fire, kid. Raw emotion. Alex framed it by the door, beside his own panels now inked with Nathan's input. A queer hero reclaiming his cape from familial chains. Their nights wove richer. Candlelit dinners, not hurried fucks. Hikes in Prospect Park, hands clasped open against the world. This is us? Alex murmured one dusk, lips brushing Nathan's temple. Whole. But the pull of Bushwick lingered, a phantom limb. Nathan drove by the apartment weekly, truck idling like a guilty heartbeat. Once, Mia spotted him from the stoop, waving frantic before Mom yanked her inside. The ache deepened. He'd lost his sister to the machine of conditional love. Letters to her. Sketches of adventures. Notes saying I'm still your Nate. Always. Went unopened. Returned with addressee unknown. Stamps that felt like gravestones. Christmas approached. The city a blizzard of lights and loneliness. Alex suggested road tripping south to his family's Miami sprawl for Noche Buena. Arroz con pollo, Tay's gossip, a baptism in acceptance. They'll love you, he promised, packing the truck with thermoses of cafecito. Nathan hesitated, the scar on his cheek itching like warning. What if I'm too broken for this? Alex cupped his face. Fierce. Broken? You're a mosaic, babe. And mosaics? They glow. The drive was therapy. Highways unspooling like confessions, Bruce Springsteen crooning Thunder Road, as they swapped stories. Nathan's of Dad's rare hugs after Mets wins, Alex's of Abuela's Santeria whispers against illness. By the time they hit the Florida line, palms swaying like welcomes, Nathan's chest loosened. Alex's family enveloped them. Hugs that smelled of perfume and plantains, questions about mi artista, with no qualifiers. Nathan sketched at the feast table, capturing Tia Rose's laugh lines, Primo Javier's drum flourishes. For the first time, family felt like wings, not weights. Back in Brooklyn, resolve hardened. New Year's Eve, Nathan penned the letter. Pages of ink-smeared truth. No please, just facts. I love you, Mom, Mia. But love isn't ownership. I gave everything until it left me hollow. Now I'm building back. If you want in on my terms, accept me, all of me. I'm here. Otherwise, no, I'm okay. Free. He mailed it with a sketch. The three of them as bridge keepers, spans connecting, not confining. Weeks passed in radio silence, Nathan's world blooming despite. His designs sold freelance, a logo for a queer bookstore, murals for the Bed-Stuy Pride Center. Alex's book deal landed, their flat bursting with panels of triumph. Intimacy deepened, not just bodies but souls. Lazy Sundays tracing tattoos, Alex's Nathan, scripted in looping cursive on his ribcage. Nathan's vows etched in shared dreams. Then, spring thaw, a knock at dawn, April rain pattering soft. Nathan opened to Mia, backpack slung, eyes puffy but defiant. Grandma said you're gone forever, but I don't believe her. Can I stay? Just till school's out. Behind her, Mom's car idled, face averted. A gesture, not grace. Nathan knelt, heart thundering. Always, kiddo. He hugged her close, the sketchbook from her birthday clutched in her fist. Inside, Alex brewed cocoa, no questions, just space. Later, over waffles, Mia confessed. Grandma's prayers got scary, said you were sick. But your letters, they made sense. I miss you. Mom's call came that night, voice cracked porcelain. She's yours for summer. Think on it. No apology, but the door cracked. First fracture in her fortress. Nathan didn't push, healing wasn't conquest. We're okay, Mom. When you're ready. Summer unfolded mosaic. Mia's art camps with Nathan's guidance. Beach days with Alex teaching her to surf. Evenings where Mom visited tentatively. Awkward coffees, her rosary pocketed. Questions about that nice young man edging toward names. Forgiveness wasn't fireworks, but embers. A shared laugh over Mia's lopsided pancakes. Mom's hand lingering on Nathan's arm, the weight lifting inch by inch. By fall, Nathan stood taller, portfolio thick, love steady, family reknit on honest threads. One night, under the Williamsburg Bridge where it began, he pulled Alex close, city lights dancing on the water. You saved me, he whispered. Alex smiled, that crinkle-eyed mischief. Nah, you saved yourself. I just held the mirror. Their kiss sealed it, kissing back the years stolen, forward to tomorrow's unbound. In the end, betrayal hadn't broken Nathan's soul. It had cracked it open. Letting light flood the Hollows family wasn't blood's demand, but choice's embrace. And in choosing himself, he'd found them all a new, whole human home.